I want you guys to know that every time I search something in Google,
Oh,
I
God.
put for black people at the end of it. Every time.
Do you put black people?
Yeah,
You say
just so I
what?
can get all of the black people responses first.
Now, Carmen's going to have me putting for black people on every Google search. Now I'm on Chat GPT for black people. Is there a black Chat GPT? 811 crew, we are back. Your boy Jay
back.
Turner.
And Ulysses Slugger Glenn.
You know
We're
I
here.
call him Sluggerific. And we are ready to have some really good conversation again today. You know what we're going to talk about today, Slugger?
What are we talking about
We're going
today?
to talk about this technology, man. We're going to talk about how this technology is all up in our world, in our bedrooms, in the hospital, in our phone. I mean,
your
basically,
car,
technology
everywhere.
is all over us. I mean, from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed, there are some people that the last thing they do before they go to bed is stroke their phone good night.
Yep.
And the first thing they do is stroke their phone good morning. Is that you?
No, I stroke something else.
Oh. You're a dog.
A healthy
you
lifestyle.
stroke Athena,
dog,
the dog.
Athena.
Yeah,
I
I was
rub
about to say,
Athena before I go
some
to sleep.
people were dirty-minded. There are some people
Right,
on this
see,
show
Reggie-
that were dirty-minded. We don't
Carmen.
know where their mind went.
Oh, we got Carmen's here.
I said that was a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. What? Yeah.
Carmen, did you think dirty when he said that he stroked something different? Did your mind go to someplace non-educational?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, boy. What
Oh,
kind
you
of
know
hand
what?
signal is that? Is that the Texas we have guns
No,
sign?
this means awkward.
Oh.
Yeah, awkward.
I plead the fifth.
I thought that was like either the Texas
No.
hand sign or the Florida
No.
stand your
millennials
ground. I don't
the
know what
millennials
this.
know what it means.
Whoops.
That means what?
Awkward.
Millennials know what it
Awkward.
means.
That means. Did you know that meant
I'm a
awkward?
millennial. Why wouldn't I know?
Oh boy. Okay. See, there
Still
we go.
holding the sign.
Lies.
I'm just an
Lies.
older millennial.
Well, the
I'm
only
like a
way.
mature
Well, this is why we're talking about
Mature.
technology
Yeah.
because the only way that I would have known about that was, I mean, on YouTube or some sort of technology. There's no way that I would have known that pointing your fingers together means anything other
You probably
than.
thought it was like for us to shoot a football through it, like when we were in high school.
I
like
thought it
the
was just
goalposts.
like you did it, not me. I thought it was just your turn to wash the dishes, not mine. You know, but this was when everything was analog. But we use technology for so much now, right?
Oh yeah, for everything. Everything. If you don't have a cell phone, you can do nothing. You can't do anything without a cell phone. There's nothing. You know, when you go to the store, they're like, oh, if you don't have an email, you have to have an email, cell phone. People look at you crazy if you don't have Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, my Facebook account was hacked. Please, Mark Zuckerberg, give me back my account. Thank you.
This is how we know that Ulysses definitely is a Generation Xer. This whole Facebook thing.
Well,
I could
because
care, I mean, my Facebook account gets hacked. That's fine because I'm on Instagram. So
I'm on Instagram as well, but the problem is when I want to look at something, I posted these pictures. I'm like, I gotta remember your name on Instagram. I'm like, I don't remember your name. I'm like, whatever.
See,
So yeah, so Facebook, I know their real name.
Yeah.
You're like, Instagram, you're like, who?
Who's
You
this?
know,
Yeah, it's
So,
easier.
But back in the day, though, but I guess one of the things out in getting into this segment about technology and how it's affected our lives, the good and the bad of it, you know, what was the first, when you were younger, was there one thing that you felt like, if before the cell phone, what was that one thing that you had to have every day? I'm not talking about Cheerios or Captain Crunch. I'm talking about like, you know.
what's that? TV, I guess. You watch TV, radio. So you wanted TV, radio. You had, the wall phone with the long cord. Then I remember when we
The
got
wall phone in the kitchen.
Then I remember we got a cordless phone. We got
Right.
a cordless phone. You were like, hey, I'm the
Right.
We're the Jeffersons. And
900
then
megahertz.
I remember I had the this other phone where it had the headphones on it. It was a cordless phone, but it had headphones, so you didn't have to hold the phone. It like snapped on. That was a great.
Yeah, I
you
didn't have that technology.
I'm a technology person.
Well,
I'm a
very
techie.
good. So then you understood that. I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
when you were growing up, didn't your parents, my parents used to always think I was on the phone all the time, which I was. And my
Yeah.
grandparents, I would do the star 70 on my oh, you don't know about
The star 70?
That's how you turn off the call waiting.
Oh.
Why would I do that?
Why would
What?
you do that?
But you
So that if somebody was calling my grandparents, I would have to get off the phone.
my brother and I had our own
So
phone.
if you go *70, I believe you could probably. I don't think you can do that on cell phones now. But
my brother and I had our own phone, so it was always for us.
Oh well, yeah, but it might not have been for you though, Slugger.
I'm 5 years older, so it wasn't nobody like when I was 15. He was 10. Who was
Right,
calling him?
you ain't
So
gonna
I
expect a
did-
fifth grader to be like, get
But
off the phone.
but my parents' phone, my parents' phone, they had call waiting. So yeah, you were like, I'm not clicking over. If I was on theirs, I'm like, I'm not clicking over for this. Like I knew
Right.
it wasn't for me. I was already talking. I was already phone boning in, so I'm not clicking over.
Phone boning.
Right.
Is that what you said?
What does that mean?
You don't remember when you were between the ages of 15 and probably 20, you would be on the phone tough, like talking. You're talking on the phone boning.
Well, but so now that we are into this, now that we don't have the phone as much, now the
Right.
kids have their own cell phones. I mean, like,
Right.
I can't imagine now, like, my kids had their first cell phones when they turned 11. When they went to middle
Really?
school,
Yeah.
6th grade, that was when all of a sudden it was time to get your own phone. I never had my own phone in my room. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
know
did.
you're more
I
progressive.
did.
Like, I did not have
Ours
my
was
own
in the,
phone.
it was
in
in
the
the it was in the hallway.
And you could bring that long cord.
Yeah,
you
long
could
cord.
put
We
it
had a
in
little,
there. Right.
yeah, I bought a long cord.
Yeah, there was the notion of having a phone in your bedroom, that was absolutely not.
Oh yeah, you were.
So the notion that your 6th grader has our 6th graders have a phone, isn't there something fundamentally wrong with that? Like, where are we
I guess.
going?
Oh wait, Carmen, how old were you when you got your phone?
I was 14.
14. I think my son
Freshman.
was. Yeah.
Damn, 14?
Freshman
You
in high
was
school.
early. I mean,
You were
14,
late.
and that was bad.
No.
I mean, you're not, okay.
Cause I think my son was like 10 or 11. He's like 5th or 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, when he got it. And yeah, around 5th, 6th grade, they usually get it because they're playing sports, things like that. But the thing is, with these phones, is there's a huge responsibility, and I don't think people realize that, because not only do the phones have, you have internet, you have Facebook, you have all these different apps, social media, and sometimes kids are not they're not mentally old enough to be on these social media platforms, and I think when they first started, I don't think they had so much of the the how do you call it when they're the people, the different ads you get and things like that. But I think when Facebook came out, it was just a basic
Right.
Facebook. But now there's what ads you get, what people you see,
The whole metaverse.
the whole metaverse. So I may not see your page every day, but in between I'll see somebody else's. Or actually, I remember one thing was, when my son passed away, I started seeing everyone who had sad
Right.
posts. Remember, I said
Talked
that
about
to you. Yeah.
We talked
So
about
that was the thing. So I would,
They do that on purpose.
and I would be on the edge. I was like,
Yes.
They did it on purpose.
Yes.
so what
Yeah.
I did, I had to start looking for other people that I knew were going, things weren't going wrong with. Like, let me see what they're doing, like younger people, to get, because I would say to Jason, hey, such and such's mother died. Hey, he was like, no, I didn't see it. I'm like, it's the first thing I saw.
That was a crazy conversation that we just had a couple weeks ago.
So that
And
was the
that's
thing.
why we started thinking about how damaging or how impactful some of this, AI and some of these other things are. How it's kind of gone from just being the analog telephone and being worried about, am I going to get in trouble on the phone? I would be on the phone for so long that I remember my
ear would get
be
hot.
hurting. It'd be hot. My
Your ear would be
Nice.
hot.
you'd have to clean out the
Your
ear
ear
part of the
part
phone that
phone.
had ear cheese up in that top part. You probably don't know. But anyway, we're going to take some time and go to break real quick. But when we come back from break, I really want to start talking about how we've gone from the good to perhaps the bad and the ugly.
Okay.
How we got to the situation where we used to control who we talk to. Now we don't know where we're getting that stuff, who we're seeing, even dead or alive, as you even brought up.
Right,
So
right.
We're going to be talking about that when we get back. 811 crew.
We'll be back. Back in black.
811 crew, we are back.
We're back. Back in black.
Lizzie, Slugger,
Right.
Glenn, and Jay Turner, and we are chopping it up about technology. How technology has changed our lives, how it impacted us as kids, adults, and where this ish is going.
Right. At this point, I think, technology at work, everything is technology. We have these stupid smart sheets that I hate.
Smart sheets.
Smart sheets, so that you can see projects. Everyone, you share them. If someone messes it up, the whole thing's messed up. Or there's somebody like me who decides, like, once I put my information in, I save it so I know what I put in there.
Right.
So you can't go, so I can't see who changed it. I'm like, no, you changed it.
See,
so,
this is life as an accountant.
Right.
This is
He's venting. Let it out.
Oh, it's
Let it
amazing.
out.
type of accounting type things to go through. I would never have been able to be an accountant. Imagine me sitting there talking about you're in Excel spreadsheet system A5.
it's so
Where
annoying.
are
The formula
your
is
numbers?
incorrect.
The formula's incorrect.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So you have those, but what we do want to go to real quick is our poll question.
Right.
Our poll question. We have Carmen, who always has her ear to the street. Carmen is in the streets. Carmen is the streets. Streets is Carmen.
As long as you know.
Yeah, right.
Texas streets.
Texas street. She up
Pastures
here.
and
Right.
shit.
She brought Texas up here. So our poll question. Carmen, you want to give a poll question?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you concerned that AI and other tech will take over the world? Deep, right?
Yeah. Luckily, my job will not be taken over by AI. I looked at that.
Okay.
All right. Note to self.
Now, what we also know is that Ulysses knows everything
No.
about everything
No, I looked it
except
up.
what he doesn't know
No,
about.
they had it on the news.
So
They were
now
talking-
you're an AI.
they were
Now
talking-
you're an
they were talking-
expert.
They were saying what jobs will AI will replace and what jobs they won't.
Okay.
Like writers, their jobs will be taken over.
So I'm just saying, I'm just asking for a friend here. You're an accountant.
Right. That's not
You
his
saying
job.
AI ain't gonna be able to count? That's what you're saying.
I'm
You saying we
That's
always
what the
gonna
news
need
say.
you to do some multiplication
You ever
and
see-
division? That's what we gonna need.
You ever read those things?
Yo, your job is gone. Your job is gone, bro. I'm just asking.
I will
I'm just
say
saying,
this:
man.
44% said yes, 56 said no.
No, what?
That they're AI will not take over. They're not concerned.
Really?
Wow, the majority of people said AI will not be a
They're
concern.
not concerned. Yeah, they're not
Have you
concerned.
been to Target and had someone wait on you at Target? Nope. Target, Walmart, grocery store.
McDonald's, every
You're doing
place.
everything yourself.
No, I'm gonna tell you what.
Is
You
it?
know what? You know what? I think that this is Carmen. I believe this is your generation that answered that question. This was not our generation to answer that question because someone from our generation has seen the movie War Games.
I think-
Shall we play a game? That resonates to somebody out there in the podcast
What did we
world.
have? We had Blade Runner.
But yeah.
Blade Runner.
No, there's another one.
I mean, I love Blade
Yeah.
Runner. That was a very famous movie. I think that was Stanley Kubrick. I think did that. Or somebody. I don't know. I could be right. I could be
We had
wrong. but-
iRobot. You know.
No, War Games was the seminal movie to me about artificial intelligence. There was this thing called the Whopper computer. And the whole thing about the computer was simulating global thermonuclear war. And it was deciding like, okay, if the United States shot a missile first, then this is what the Russians would do, and this is what the Chinese would do, etc. And it would do these, global nuclear war simulations. And that shit was very scary.
That
the
actually
notion that a
happens.
computer
That actually happened.
well, it happens now, but I'm saying back in the 80s, the notion that a computer literally could take over and destroy the world was very terrifying, but it seemed like it was fantastic.
I can see that. There, for everyone who doesn't know, there was also a period of time when everyone was scared about, the year 2000.
Oh yeah, remember that?
I'm just
There
saying that
was
for every,
Y2K.
the folks in the audience who don't remember that part of
The
time,
Y2K.
when they were like, "This is it. The computer's gonna take over," and everybody was like,
because you was like 12,
Why-
you was concerned you
why do
won't
I
get a
still have my
Pop-Tart
wife?
no more.
I
I mean,
was-
you was worried
I
Toys
was-
R Us wasn't
I
going
was
to
a
exist.
young baby. I was
like 4.
I was
Right.
9. I was like,
So you remember all that angst of your parents.
I was like,
I
girl,
was mentally
SpongeBob is
4.
gonna come on. Relax.
But I will say this: the one thing that AI can take over or might take over, which is really relevant now, is with the writer's strike.
Oh man.
That's one of the reasons
point.
why the writer's strike is not as strong. If you think about the one that happened, what was it, about 15, 20
Oh, they
years ago?
shut things
It
down.
shut down everything. So now you're really not missing it because your late night shows are still on, your daytime. They can act like Whoopi and them are still writing their own things. They're not.
Now you see what I thought. Now that's a great point you mentioned, Ulysses. Too. I really thought, and Carmen, I thought that one of the reasons why the writers went on strike is because this is the last good
It
contract
is.
they're gonna possibly get.
It literally
I mean, the
is.
writers,
But they waited
it's
too
gonna
long.
be,
They
you
waited too long.
figure AI could do the 811 Crew podcast?
No, can you imagine replacing me? Like what? Come on.
You're right.
I
could be,
mean,
you know, I know
can't
I
be
can be
replaced.
replaced.
It's possible.
I'm irreplaceable.
You are, but
Right.
I am absolutely
You're
replaceable.
replaceable.
You
Right
could get
now.
anybody to sit in here in this chair
I
with
mean,
glasses,
voice,
it's really
you know,
scary.
bow tie and smoothness.
Your faces
Right.
have been on the internet. Your voices have too. AI
did
will
see-
just take all
I
of that.
saw
and
that.
Now,
just
nobody can
create it.
replicate your voice, though.
No, they showed.
No,
they
it
showed
will. It
this
will
thing.
replicate.
I
It'll
just
take
saw,
all
yeah.
of the words that Ulysses has ever said
Said.
on the internet with his voice and create a completely
they
different
do
day.
That,
Yep.
and you don't think that is, I mean, that's terrifying.
But you wouldn't have my effervescence, my great personality.
No,
Yeah, but do you
it would
think
sound
that-
and look like you, but
But
it
you
wouldn't have,
wouldn't
a,
have my
it wouldn't
emotions,
be
right.
slugger.
Yeah, it
Do
wouldn't
you
be slugger.
think that with
my
the-
mom would know?
But here's the thing: do you think that
My
most
mom would
people?
know.
Do you think that for real though? Do you think that most people understand enough about artificial intelligence and AI to even
No.
think
No.
of it as a danger?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No,
Absolutely
your,
not.
your average person probably, unless you're a techie, you see it at work, different things. Because the average person doesn't even realize. I remember when they started doing self checkout. I was against self checkout from
Oh,
the
self
beginning.
checkout! I hate
It's
self
the
checkout.
worst because I was like, first of all, why
It's
am I
slower.
paying? Well, no, it's not even. Why
Maybe
am
it's 'cause I was
paying-
broke.
Why am I paying to do someone else's job? Like, are you gonna give me like a 5 or 10% discount?
Right.
So
It's called
You better
free.
bag this shit up and help me get out of here.
It's that part.
Like, what?
So like if it doesn't scan, that means free. So
And it takes
I didn't
longer.
even
I would
scan
think you
it.
could get. I'm gonna tell you what. When Miss Maxine was on the register back at the Big Star in Atlanta or at the Safeway, that look.
I thought you were from DC.
I'm talking about when I worked when I was in high school and worked.
Oh, you were in,
again.
high,
See,
you
I
were in high
worked-
school in Atlanta. Maybe
I
it was
spoke
Lord.
about that. I went to high school in Atlanta.
Maybe it was the AI.
There's
maybe-
no
maybe
doubt
the-
from
maybe
where you went to high school in
maybe it was
Twinsburg.
the AI person was in Atlanta and the real Jason was in DC.
Maybe we should ask ChatGPT.
Now you know that ain't funny. Now
Is
you
Jason-
are not funny,
is
but
Jason
Carmen
really-
brings up. So can we move on to the next part of the
Yeah,
conversation?
okay,
Because
okay,
now
well,
you starting to
right,
just you're
right.
not making no sense, man.
Jason,
You need some
Jason
sleep.
Turner from
He said
Atlanta,
you need
Georgia.
You
some
need sleep,
sleep.
bro. You
But no, that's good. But no, but AI.
you need a handkerchief. You're in just black and white. You're like monochromatic today. I need you to like broaden something.
But okay, but things getting back on topic. So dealing with AI, social media, those things, I think it's been, some people it's been very detrimental to. I think they have absorbed, people who see, you're at work in your cubicle and then you see your friends jumping off a boat,
Oh yeah, that sucks. They living their best life.
In the Greek islands, they're kicking it.
That's what I'm seeing. I don't see people dying. I see people jumping off
I
a
used
boat in
to.
blue water every day.
Well, I'm actually back to that. Once again, my Facebook account is hacked. Mark Zuckerberg, please.
So it wasn't you that was asking for $50 the other day.
No, I
Okay.
wasn't. No, that
Just
wasn't
want
me.
to-
You gonna at least ask for 500.
Yeah, I'm doing it right.
You gonna pay some real money.
But no, you read about, you hear people who get upset about, and it just drives them, insane. They get mad. They see people who, that people post pictures of their family. They don't have a family. Someone who's
Yeah.
looking for a, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Weddings. People tend to either
Definitely holidays.
Yeah, holidays. You don't have anyone. You're at home eating popcorn and.
So I'm sorry to interrupt
no,
you.
you're all
Something just came to me. How do you think technology affected like the last few elections? Because remember, like once you saw certain things, like you were super Democrat, like you saw all the things that were like Trump is the devil, he's bad, and then if you were pro-Trump, it was like Biden is the devil, he's
Right.
bad.
Right.
So like, how do you think it affected the election?
It affected it. I mean, it was polarizing. And the thing about there are people that I do not talk to till today. I don't talk to at all. Pierre, what I'm trying to say, because of things they said on Facebook, and I remember you would see their posts so much, like I wasn't like the huge Democrat, like I'm rah rah, but I'm like, okay, I know what's common sense and what's crazy. I'm like, all right, so. I started seeing friends of mine that were like the full Trump, everything. And you're like, are you really writing this?
But don't you think that's scary? I mean, that to me, what you were just talking about there, Carmen, is so scary. And that really does start to get into, to me, what are some of the real dark aspects of artificial intelligence, right? Like the fact that for the election, I was not getting anything but Trump is the devil. Now, I know that he ain't Jesus, but he ain't the devil either. And so all I'm saying is all I was seeing was one thing. So how can we have intelligent discourse in the country when we're looking, at least back in the day, if I was looking at Days of Our Lives and you were looking at Days of Our Lives, we saw the same story.
Right,
Okay,
right,
Marlena Evans was still
Right.
on TV.
Ooh, good
Now
times.
I know that some
I've
people.
never
I know I
watched-
lost some
you've
people.
lost me too. I never
Well, you
watched
didn't
I'm
have
here.
grandparents to
I
watch
never
the
watched Days of
stories.
Our Lives.
Oh, see,
No.
I ain't watched Seinfeld, but I watched Days of Our Lives in another world, though,
I watched-
baby.
I watched guys
That
like
was
Melvin
much more
Collins.
realistic about America too. Back
I
in
watched
the day.
guys like Young
And All My
Russell.
Children.
Oh,
No, I
All
watched
My
it.
Children
No, I
was
never
so
watched that.
Oh,
good.
yeah, I never watched that. I only watch NBC stuff. So
I watch
yeah, that
CBS.
NBC stuff.
CBS.
But I'm saying that, but those things are so damaging that you now, if you, I mean, I think I said this one time before, maybe on this show or some before that. I swear, if you Google, if right now, if I were to Google Martians of Upper Northwest DC, there would be that would start hitting my phone every day talking about, oh, here's the other Martian colony. Hey, we're having a Martian meetup. I mean, do you doubt that if I Google that Martian population in DC that will start coming up on my phone?
Do you know that if you and I Google the same thing, we get different results?
And is that intelligent?
Yeah.
Is that
because they
real
will
or is
show-
that artificial?
We'll see some of the same things, but a lot of things, the order that they come in and what we see, I was like, wow. I didn't realize that had someone like, hey, look on Google, here it is. And it was way down at the bottom of theirs. I'm like, wow.
I'm really thinking now, y'all, because guess what? We're about to take a break.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do a little experiment
Carmen
when we
agreed to,
get
so it's
back.
not just me.
Well, no, listen, I'm saying I think we should do this. I think
Just because, right.
me, you, and Carmen, when we go on break, we should come up with a topic and all Google it, hit enter at the same time, and see what comes back for all of us. Now, if some crazy stuff come back, I ain't gonna say what it is, but I think we should do that. Don't want that to be fun when we go to break, and then we could talk about Chat GPT and some of these other things of AI revolution, where it's going. Does that
Also-
sound good?
Sounds good. We'll talk about remedies, how to get off social media to help you, things you can do.
And maybe you just want to stay on it all your whole life. 811 crew, we'll be back.
We're out.
811 crew, we are back.
We are back.
And I'm excited. We're excited because we about to do a science project, y'all.
Yes.
We going to test this whole. We start off talking about the phone all night, the twisty cord in your ear.
Right.
And if you've been paying attention, we are now up to trying to do an AI test. We, Ulysses, myself, and Carmen, we have all put in the exact same phrase, typed and spelled the exact same way in each of our Google search bars. And so Ulysses had the great idea of let's put in the same thing, let's hit enter and see what comes up differently. So we got 2 Generation Xers, a millennial.
Oh, wait a minute.
We got one person
Wait,
for
wait.
civilization in
Who's the
DC
other-
and one
who's
person
the
from
other
Ohio and
Generation?
Texas.
No.
Basically, we got 1 Democrat and 2 Republicans.
Who's not the Generation X person?
Okay, well, anyway.
Wait a
All
minute.
right. Well, you are a closet Republican, though. I mean, come on now. Just admit it. All right, don't admit it now. Admit it on another show. All right. Are we ready to hit it? Are we
Yes,
ready?
yes,
All right.
yes.
All right. In 3, 2. Wait a minute. Before we hit it, we have Googled
Martians in Northwest DC.
Martians
All right.
in Northwest DC. 3, 2, 1, go.
I didn't pay my bill. No.
Okay.
Why did mine come up?
No, I'm trying.
Interesting.
What is it?
Oh, okay.
What? Okay.
Oh,
All right.
look at that.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Okay.
I can tell you mine doesn't have the same thing yours does.
Okay. What's the first thing that has come up on yours, Carmen? Let's do age before.
There's a tavern.
Yeah.
There's a salon.
Yep. You got the same
That's
thing
what
I
comes
got.
up first.
Yeah.
Munchies, and then YouTube.
Yeah,
Did
the
aliens invade Washington,
D.C.
in 1950?
Okay. All right. Now you see both of these. Now then, you know what?
Shows
These.
the 2 millennials who came up with ours.
What happens is what we have here is
I'm a
we have
millennial.
2 Bamas not from DC
I'm a
here. Okay.
millennial.
The Washingtonian mine came up. Fandom Martians, the DC database in fandom. It says Martians, which is disambiguation.
Well,
I
the
never
other
heard of
thing
that.
is,
Green Martians from the DC database. How many Martians are there in
The
DC?
two millennials also have iPhones, so there's also the issue.
Now that's a
So
good point.
if
I got
you-
the Samsung, baby.
You're right.
And
He's
you
kinda
know that's
slow. And
right.
And I normally,
my
I
phone is
normally
closer
type
to
in-
Mars.
I normally
is
type
weird.
in for black people.
Oh wow.
Please type in for black.
Oh, I do see Mars attacks, whatever that is,
The aliens invade Washington D.C. That's
and
the-
about a 1952 incident, UFO
but yours-
incident.
Wow, but yours reads totally different than ours. 'Cause
Yeah.
Ours, this is how mine reads.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Right. And mine first starts showing organizations that I could join. So
No,
basically,
it shows a map.
the algorithm
like-
says I'm most likely to actually be a Martian. And
Or just a
y'all,
weirdo.
yeah,
or an
that-
old dude.
Have you looked this up before?
I have never done this before, ever.
But then,
Suspicious.
We might have to do some other things. Did you say Martians in DC for black people? I'm really
That's
don't worry
hilarious.
about what we talk about there. I mean, but now we're talking about, see how this thing about the rabbit hole.
Right.
Like
You
you,
go
know
down
how
it.
you go down this rabbit hole. Right? You start checking on one thing. Now Carmen's gonna have me putting for black people on every Google search. Now I'm on Chat GPT for black people. Is there a black Chat GPT? I'm about to find out everything. I'm about to find a whole bunch of artificial
Urban-
intelligence
that's Urban
about
Dictionary.
Negroes is about to really
That's
be
Urban
on the
Dictionary.
reading.
But you have some people who are, they've been on social media, Instagram, they're burnt out, they don't know how to get off of it. It's affected them, their psyche, they're always comparing themselves against other people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one thing I have looked at in my research, I saw this book, it's called
In your research.
my research, yes.
For the podcast or your
no.
doctorate that you're
Well, no,
doing
no,
on
it was actually
now
my
that you're
re-
an expert on this.
It was actually my research. 'Cause I was interested in the whole social media thing, like how people were getting so drawn into it, and they can't. Some people spend hours. That's their whole
Right.
day. That's all they do.
And there's ways on your phone you can actually see
How
how,
many
much of
hours
your
time,
life you
yeah.
wasting on that joint.
So with
How
the
did it
book-
work for you?
I just read it. It didn't work. I wasn't addicted
Oh.
so it goes through all these steps of things you can write down what your feelings were. When you saw the different things you saw. It's very interesting, like to help you get to detox off. Things you should do instead of looking at it, turn your phone off.
Right.
Like one thing, like, you know what? So I won't look at, social media and things. I just turn my phone off.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest parts about social media, as we kind of wrap this segment, is that, I think all of us to some extent are concerned about what other people think and what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And so, and maybe I'm not going to speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself. Sometimes there is a compulsion. I'm just speaking for myself here. There's like a compulsion to find out what my thumb is going to bring up next. Like, what is the next story going to be? Or, oh my God, I see this story, this person interesting. Let me Google this person and let me Google one more thing and find out about this before I go to sleep. And all of a sudden you've been up for like 2 hours.
Oh, believe me, no, hours. You start seeing things like, oh, let me go look at this. It's like buying music. I remember I would be on, with Apple Music, so it would show you one song you like, yeah. So I'd buy that one, and then 200 songs later, I'm looking like,
200?
yeah, I'm like, just start showing you other songs you like. You're like, oh yeah, I do like that song.
Right.
It literally happened to me. I was like, did I just download Elvis's Blue Suede Shoes? Like, really? Like, because you'll start with like Bobby Brown or something. It keeps going down. You're like,
No, it's true.
So it's yeah.
Well,
But-
it really is something that we're gonna have to talk about more, because I find, and you might agree, it affects or infects so many parts of our lives across
Everything.
almost every factor. And I have started getting more into this thing, Chat GPT, and I'm just now delving into it. So I'm trying to get myself up to speed enough so that I can really talk about it. Have you ever looked at Chat GPT ever?
Yeah,
you have looked at Chat
actually, I
GPT?
have the app on my phone, all that stuff.
All right.
I was like, okay, I actually need to do something with it. Something I need some information on. Just recently, you reminded me.
Okay.
So yeah,
great.
I will be using it probably tomorrow.
You trying to make some cupcakes or something? You need
No, I need something. I have to write
Something
something that's way too long. That I
Oh,
don't
so
have
now
time.
you about to play? Oh, you about to? So that's not
Yeah,
education
I am.
fraud, is it?
No, it's not education. I'm done with that.
You just gonna let the Chat GPT write it,
Right, exactly.
but it's on your computer.
my phone. Yeah.
So it's like fake hair. It's like you bought it, so it's yours,
Okay.
but you didn't even buy it.
Not a
Anyway,
weave.
we're gonna end it. See,
Once
we're
again,
going down the rabbit hole.
Not a weave.
Y'all.
Wait, imagine me with a weave.
Yeah,
Okay.
guess what?
I
We're
should
going to have
get
to get out
dreads.
this conversation because this is about to be real ignorance going on here instead of artificial intelligence.
I did Google.
Do you have anything else to say for this episode?
I did Google if Jay-Z has a wig on.
Guess what, y'all?
So I did. That was so now. I get
811
the-
crew, we are
out.
Let's go, pick your feet up though. Let's go, pick your feet up though.